This is a picture of me graduating high school. The year was 2007. Plenty has changed since then. The seedy mustache has now been joined by a disgusting beard, for example. But plenty has stayed the same, including this, the current then, and still current now, Mitsubishi Lancer. The Lancer is now 8 years old, which doesn't quite put it in Land Rover Defender territory, though it is long in the tooth for a popular model. And despite its age, there's still no sign of an all-new one. In lieu of a complete overhaul, Mitsubishi has rolled out regular updates to try to inject freshness into the aging model. Today we've got the current base model, the ES Sport. With the manual, it's just $18,990, and with the CVT and metallic paint, it's about $21.5, which is pretty cheap for a small auto from a mainstream brand. The styling is pretty much the same as it was pre-GFC, although these black alloys are a nice touch. But look at this wing at the back. If I had friends when I was at school, I'm sure they would have spent months saving up for something like this. But now it's standard, love it or hate it. Annoyingly, there's no boot release button on the outside, which means you have to use the rather old school key that you get. When you do, there's 400 litres of space in there, which is actually a little disappointing given that the Mirage sedan has an extra 50 litres. You can, however, push down the 40-60 fold rear seats if you need to lug around a bit more. In their upright position, the back seats are pretty comfortable. They're softly cushioned, they've got nice long bases, and they're nicely reclined. There's lots of toe room and knee room, although taller people or ones with silly hair might be a little bit tight. There are no air vents back here, but a centre armrest does make things pretty cosy for two. It's pretty basic up front, and quite a few at the car advice office have taken a stab at it. I actually don't mind it though. Yes, it's very simple, but it's quite user-friendly. That is all except the Bluetooth audio pairing system, however, which is one of the most convoluted on the market.
Link system.
Bob's iPhone. You do get a nice convenient spot to put your phone, however, and there's a USB port in the glove box to let you charge it. It is definitely showing its age, however. There's no touch screen, there's no reverse view camera, there's no parking sensors, and there's no reach adjustment on the steering wheel either, which means that the seating position may not suit all drivers. The visibility is great, however, with big windows and small pillars. Well, mostly great anyway. The 2-litre engine is quite coarse and grainy, and it's probably one of the least refined engines in its class in that regard. And it's not particularly fuel efficient either. It pulls pretty confidently though, working hard from down low, and even when you're overtaking on the highway, it responds effortlessly. The CVT is quite smooth and capable, though it can sometimes take a second to react when you hit the throttle a little harder, and it can also shunt at times. The ride lacks the sophistication of its more modern rivals. It falls heavily and loudly into big holes and over road joins, and it gets a little bit jittery over ripply surfaces. That said, the Lancer's soft suspension setup and chubby tyres means it does a pretty good job of taking the sharpness off most bumps and ruts. At a tick over 3.5 turns lock to lock, the steering is quite slow with lots of play around the centre position, so it will keep you busy around town and when parking. Mitsubishi sweetens the deal with a 5-year 100,000 kilometre warranty and cheap servicing, which will cost you just over $1,000 for the first 4 years or 60,000 kilometres. Plus, if you get your car serviced with Mitsubishi, you can get 5 years of free roadside assistance. There's plenty of value to be had with the Lancer, and with dozens of competitors in the class, you're in a great position to haggle hard with dealers for an even sharper price. It's soldiering on, but in base spec, it's under-equipped and dynamically off the pace of our favourite small sedans, such as the Mazda 3, the Ford Focus, and the Toyota Corolla.